All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back. My name is Ian. It's great to see you again. Today, we will continue talking about some conversational techniques, and we'll cover three different components: the conversational cycle, the concept of presence, and finally, some different gestures that you can use to make yourself more powerful and authoritative in front of a classroom or in front of a speech with your colleagues. So, the first thing I want to share is called the conversational cycle or the cycle of conversation. This is a tidbit that I picked up while listening to the Art of Charm podcast, and it talks about three different components that make for a very engaging conversationalist: questions, listening, and a statement. I think all three are essential to having very productive and engaging and great conversations that people will remember and people will appreciate you for. Why do I think that all three are important? Well, if we take out the listening aspect of the conversational cycle, then all we have are questions and statements. Essentially, what it means is that if you're not listening to what the other person is saying, you are just asking a question and then forming a statement in your head. As one of the quotes behind me says by a man named Simon Sinek, there's a big difference between listening and waiting for your turn to speak. For example, so what do you think about the current coronavirus situation? Or do you feel concerned? Well, while there's definitely a lot of real pain and problems that are associated with this current pandemic, I'm not personally too concerned. I think that hopefully things will relax in the summer. My favorite place to eat lunch is kimbap nara because I like to order the sundu buchige. He didn't listen to a single thing that his conversational partner said. He just asked a question, but then launched right into his own statement. So without any listening, it's just not going to be a very solid conversation. You know, when I was younger, my dad always used to tell me how he would play a subtle game with people in which he would try not to share anything about himself until he learned more about the other person. He would try to drag it out and he would try to ask people lots of different questions and he would listen very intently. While this is definitely better than the first option here, when you're just listening and asking different questions, this is not a conversation. This is an interrogation because you are not contributing anything to the conversation as a conversational partner. Sure, I think that it's important to listen more than you speak to be a good conversationalist, but if you're not offering any of your own opinions or insights or comments, then you're really not much different than a police officer who is interrogating a suspect about a crime. Where were you on the night of December 7th, 2017? What were you wearing? Oh, what did you do after you left the party? Whoa, were you dating anybody at the time? Oh, what was her name? Oh, was she more pretty than me? It can be very off putting to feel like you're being interrogated by somebody. What about if you ignore the question aspect? Yeah, I'll just listen to what someone else says and then I will offer a statement. Well, without a question to spur someone to talk or to provide a response, you just have a dead conversation. Yeah, today's weather is really, really nice, huh? Yeah, today's weather's good. Yeah, totally. Questions are the springboard to help us get into the meat of a conversation. So, statement plus listening, you have a dead conversation. So, I think that to make a excellent conversationalist, you really have to incorporate all three components. You ask somebody a question, you listen very actively to what they have to say, and then you offer some kind of comment or statement that relates to what the person said. So, what do you do for work? Oh, I'm actually a realtor. I sell homes. Oh, really? My mom's a realtor too. What kinds of real estate do you often sell the most? So that was more about conversation, but now let's switch gears to a topic that I really appreciate and a researcher who I really appreciate named Amy Cuddy. Her research is about a concept called presence. According to the dictionary here, we have presence as a noun, the impressive manner or appearance of a person. Wow. She has such strong presence. Or as an adjective, to be present means to be fully focused on or involved in what one is doing or experiencing. You are mindful. You are in the present moment. If you are in the present moment, you are present. So Dr. Cuddy wants to sort of combine these two definitions to talk about being confident and authentic in yourself and also being very aware and in the here and now. So let's judge this person's body language. Does this person look confident or unconfident? Yeah, I'd say he looks quite confident. His posture is very open, his arms, his elbows are out. He looks like he's in a very powerful position. What about these two folks right here? Do they look more confident or unconfident? Yeah, I mean, their arms are crossed up, their shoulders are a little bit higher. They look very closed off. They look like they're trying to hide. So, whenever we want to project confidence when we speak, it really helps if we can use our arms. Let our arms out a little bit. Open your chest. Allow yourself to take up space.
So here's one, couple more. This one has been dubbed the Wonder Woman by the media. Here are a couple more. So you can be standing or you can be sitting. And here are the low power poses. So you're folding up, you're making yourself small. This one is very low power. When you're touching your neck, you're really kind of protecting yourself.
One really cool aspect of Dr. Cuddy's research is the concept of what she calls power posing. Power posing is when you allow your body language to open up and you just have to sit there and hold the pose. You can do like this, like a Wonder Woman. You can do like this, like a marathon winner. What's really important is that you let your legs be a little bit more spread out, about shoulder width, and you let your arms be out away from your body. Your elbows are out or your arms are up. You can hold that pose for 1 minute. Cuddy's research shows that specific hormones in your brain actually increase, which will naturally drive your confidence. It'll make you feel more powerful when you are giving a speech. It'll make you feel like you are confident and that you own the room. So before you have to teach a class that you're nervous about, or if you have to give a presentation or talk to your principal or vice principal and you're not sure, sometimes just taking a little bit of time to assume a very confident body posture can make a huge difference in the confidence that you project.
So the end of my first year at Harvard, a student who had not talked in class the entire semester, who I had said, look, you gotta participate or else you're gonna fail, came into my office. I really didn't know her at all. And she came in totally defeated and she said, I'm not supposed to be here. And that was the moment for me because two things happened. One was that I realized, oh my gosh, I don't feel like that anymore. I don't feel that anymore, but she does, and I get that feeling. And the second was, she is supposed to be here. Like, she can fake it, she can become it. So I was like, yes, you are. You are supposed to be here, and tomorrow you're gonna fake it, you're gonna make yourself powerful, and you're gonna... and you're gonna go into the classroom and you are gonna give the best comment ever, And she gave the best comment ever. And people turned around and they were like, oh my God, I didn't even notice her sitting there,
All right, let's talk a little bit about gesture. So there's a really famous movie quote from a film when I was a child called The Ballad of Ricky Bobby, Talladega Nights, where Will Ferrell is giving an interview and his hands are constantly rising up. And he says, I don't know what to do with my hands right now. Gesture is all about what can you do with your hands and your arms when you are speaking. Well, there are a lot of different things that you can do with your arms. I tend to be more of a chopper if I want to make a point. For example, we have to get this done. I'm also a big fan of rotating my hands whenever I like to make a point. So what you're saying is that if we can talk about this issue a little bit more, maybe have another meeting, we can come to an agreement. This speaks to what we talked about with TED Talks, in which incorporating some visuals using your hands and how you move your body can either supplement or distract from the message that you are trying to share with your audience. Some people are not always sure what they should do with their hands, or it feels really unnatural. So I'm going to teach you a very simple technique that I use every now and then, which is called the ball technique. The ball technique is very simple. Imagine that there is a ball in between your hands. Right now, it's about the size of a little melon. But if you need to expand your point, you can make it a little bit bigger, like the size of a beach ball. I have big plans for you today. Or you can shrink the ball. It can be just the size of a little golf ball if you want. It only takes a little bit more. We just need to put in a little bit more time, and we're going to get there. I promise. So the ball can be as big as a beach ball, can be a baseball, it can be a little golf ball, but it can really stand to supplement the point that you're trying to make when you're confused or self-conscious about what kind of gestures that you want to use. And that's all I have to share with you today. I appreciate you for listening, and I look forward to seeing you in the next class. But until then, cheers.